everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the recently asked scenario based question in the Deloitte. See, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Based on the selection, for example, if I would select one, so top one has to be identified. If I would select top two, so top two has to be identified with a different color. If I would select top four, so top four has to be identified with a different color. Okay, so based on the selection, so whatever we gonna define it here in the filter, so specific number of products highlighted with a different color to it. So how can we able to achieve this? So let me explain the process first in the Excel so that we can jump into the Power BI. How can we able to implement the same approach in the Power BI to get the required output for it? Let's imagine we have few products with a specific revenue to it. So I just defined A, B, C, D, E, F as a product. The specific revenue target has to be defined. Okay, so if I want to get top one or two or whatever the selection gonna made, that has to be highlighted. First, I have to define a ranking for it. Okay, so based on the numbers and revenue which I was provided, so D product is a top one product, and C is the top two, and B is the top three, and this is the fourth product, and this is the fifth and sixth. So just imagine this is a ranking that what we are going to define for it. And now, for example, if I am going to select one, so top one product has to be highlighted. Okay, if I would select top two, one and two has to be highlighted. For example, we need another flag which defines whether it is less than or more than the selection. For example, if I would made a selection for 2 less than or equals to 2, so this is going to be a flag, yes, and this is also less than 2. And remaining things whatever 3 or 4, these are not less than 2. So let's make that no. So even for the next, if we gonna made a selection for 3, so 3 is less than or equals to the ranking whatever we defined. Okay, then this is going to be yes. This is going to be satisfy the condition, and it's going to be highlighted based on what we may gonna do a selection in the specific filter. Okay, so hope you guys understand what the context is right now. Let's jump into the Power BI, try to make the same approach, try to build the same manner of measures and everything, and finally let's achieve what we are expecting in it. Let's see the data first. So here we can find all the order related information and customer related information and specific address and related information to the customers, and the product information and what product it specifically, and the sales information is going to be available in this data table. Let's come back to the reporting space and let's take a new page. So as we have explained previously in the Excel, first let's bring the data to the table first. So subcategory we needed, and on top of subcategory we need a revenue for it. Okay, let's create a revenue measure for it. So as we know, revenue measure has to be calculated. It's sum of revenue, the sales data. Now revenue has been defined. So on top of revenue, based on the selection we gonna made, so we need a ranking for it. So for example, if user would select 2 or 3 or 4 in the slicer, so it has to impact in the table to select only up to that specific number which was selected in it. Okay, first let's define a ranking for it as well. Let's take a rank measure as well. So defining a ranking, so we need to use the rank x command. So in rank x command, first we need to define a table. If you can see the table, what are we having right now uh, in the table? What are we considering for displaying in the reporting space? So it's in the context of subcategory. So let's take a table which is in context of subcategory, all of subcategory, instead of taking all the columns. So whatever is in the context, that is the only column we have to consider as a table context. And expression, so expression, it has to define a rank based on what? So based on revenue we have to consider, and value, let it be, and it has to be descending. Now let's use a rank in the same table. So now we got all the rankings which are defined, and now we need to define another flag for it. Okay, before we gonna define a flag, we need a dynamic slicer for filtering the data. So let's insert in the modeling pane. So here we can find a parameter. So here we are going to have a numeric range of parameters. So here we have to define a name, and I'm just defining a name, and minimum should be 1, maximum is considered, I mean, we are having only 15 to 20 subcategories, so it's fine to have a 20, and increment should be 1. Add this slicer, so mark it, enable that add slicers to the space, create a new one. So once we click on the create, so it's going to create a new slicer for us, and let's do some formatting. Keep the background as somehow bit coloring. Let's increase the size of the font a bit to 14, and slicer header, it's in black right now, so let's make that to white so that we can clearly see what is the header and everything. Let's define a new flag for it. So let's take a new measure, and we can define the condition for it. It's a rank flag. So as I told you previously, now let's define a flag. If rank of subcategory less than or equals to the selection of top n, then it has to be 1 or else it's 0. So if you can see right now the selection is on 2. So the rank flag, which is enabled only, which is showing only 1 and 2, as an enabled. Let's keep that change to 4. So 4 is going to be enabled for it, and if you can make the change to 6, so now 6 are enabled. Okay, now rank flag also has been created. So whatever the selection we may gonna made, so anything which is less than the top in is going to be highlighted. I mean, is going to be flagged under yes, or remaining things comes under no. Now let's convert this table to a visual and remove everything like rank flag, rank subcategory, and everything. Let's remove everything. Let's keep only the subcategory and revenue and related information. And let's enable the data labels as well. Let's make the header change. So let's keep that by subcategory, revenue by subcategory. And for coloring, we are having a columns here. So in the columns, so we are going to have a color. So let's take a conditional formatting here. So in the conditional formatting, let's define a rank flag which we created recently. If the rank flag is equals to 1, it has to be green. Let's take a color for green. And let's take a new condition. The flag is 0, then keep that orange. Then click on OK. See, right now the top in selection is made for 6. So 6 bus has been highlighted. Whenever we gonna change to 1, So top one is going to be highlighted. If we're going to do 3, so 3 is going to be highlighted. So whatever the selection we are going to define, so those many uh, top products are going to be highlighted based on the selection what are we going to make. And same time they would ask you to highlight only the top fifth instead of all, like top 5 they would ask us to highlight only fifth product. So how can we do that change? Let's make a correction in the rank flag. So previously we have given less than or equals to. Okay, now we can give a just equals to. So for example, if it is fifth, fifth is going to be enabled and specific color is going to be highlighted. Let's make that change now. See, now whenever I made the change to equals to, only fifth is going to be highlighted now. Let's make the correction to 3. Third is going to be highlighted. Let's give that to 8. 8. 8 is going to be highlighted. Let's make that change to 10. So 10th product is going to be highlighted. So whatever the selection we're gonna do, specific subcategory is going to be highlighted. Okay, so this is the scenario based question which was asked in Deloitte recently.